today. New greenhouse gas regulations from the Environmental Protection Agency. They were announced yesterday. They require that newly built industrial facilities or existing ones that undergo, quote, major modification must use best available control technology to reduce their emissions. So what does this mean for businesses, especially refiners, who would be most affected? Charles Drevna is the president of the National Petrochemical and Refiners Association, whose members include virtually all U.S. refiners and petrochemical manufacturers. He's joining us now from our Washington newsroom. So welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. First of all,
nice to be here, Joey. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's talk first of all and mention that you are opposed to these regulations as they stand. They cover just the larger companies that under the EPA's purview, so to speak, and that's the grounds under which you're opposing it at this time. Explain that to us a little bit.
Well, Julie, we're opposed. And again, this is a proposal. There will be plenty of time to comment on EPA's proposal here. I think we have 60 days or so. But what we're objecting to is actually the EPA's taking a position that you can use the existing Clean Air Act to force fit a regulation that would focus only on greenhouse gases, CO2 and CO2 equivalents. Our position is that the Clean Air Act or any other act that that handles environmental type of statutes, whether it's the Clean Air Act, the Endangered Species Act, the National Environmental Policy Act, any of those acts were not enacted and are not structured the way that you can control greenhouse gases, or regulate greenhouse gases, I should say.
Well, Charlie, at the same time, as we all know, Congress is also considering some new rules on greenhouse gases, specifically cap and trade, and your organization has been opposed to those as well. Isn't that correct?
We are opposed to it for the simple reason that it either through the EPA's attempt or through what we've seen so far in Congress, is that we will, if these laws are enacted or if these regulations are enacted as we see them, we will be exporting our energy security. We will be exporting our industrial base.
Right.
We will be impacting the consumer. We will be impacting every segment of the American economy and American society. This is why we find what EPA...
Wouldn't an environmental advocate, for example, though, argue that you have those concerns you're talking about, but on the other hand, you have the health of the planet, people's personal health, things of that nature?
Well, again, this is if it's a global matter, it has to have a global participation. I don't believe that as the United States that we should be ceding our industrial base, our economic strength, to foreign countries who are really have made no secrets about what they want to do, either on emissions or on exporting goods, least of which is not fuel, to the United States. So what we're saying, is let's take a long, hard look at either the unintended consequences of what we are doing or what Congress or EPA is trying to do. Our position is let's talk about what is the right thing to do, not what's the politically expedient thing to do.
Just real quickly here, unfortunately we don't have a lot of time left. Would you then be in favor of something, say, by the G20 or something more global, a cap-and-trade program?
We would be in favor of something that keeps America's economy on the recovery. The previous report you just had, 3 or 4 minutes ago, suggested that we're not out of this economic malaise yet, and any further, burdens on the American economy.
Right.
For the past year or so, we've been living under a carbon-constrained world.
Yep, Mr. Drevna,
we don't want to continue. Yes, sir.
We're going to have to leave it there. We're out of time. Charles Drevna, president of the National Petrochemical and Refiners Association.